It says excellent connection, it says. All right, let's go. Mulvey's back. Mulvey's locked. Dino! What's up, baby? What's up, baby? What's up, baby? Gotta tell you, I love the internet. I love the internet. I love the tools it gives. I love the ability to share my pics with the world via the internet. But I'll say this, and I'll say it one time, the internet is a freaking joke, and it sucks. The internet sucks. I hate it for what it is, and I hate it for what it will be in the future. What's up, Tony? Welcome to my rant about the internet, how it refuses to work, and how I just, man, do I hate it. Man, do I hate it sometimes. I love the opportunities it gives, but the opportunities it takes away could be just as detrimental, if you ask me. We got 4 back. We got 4 back. Like the video, like the video, like the video, like the video, like the video. Thoughts on AI? Big, not fan of AI, Jonathan, as it turns out. What are we? Kolb's in here. Kolb's in here. Yes, Will's in here. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're so back. God. That was brutal. That was brutal. Welcome back. Another episode of Cashin with Cam. And let me tell you, the internet sucks. The internet sucks. I am currently running on a hotspot on my phone because Xfinity blows. And, you know, I've been doing it the same way every week. Decided not to work this week. And it is what it is. Are we blood red mad? Yeah, we're mad. But it is what it is. How are we sounding? Are we sounding all right out there? I'm locked in. I hope you are. Cashin with Cam, episode 1,000,000 at this point. It feels like we're on college football week 10. Time's flying by, boys. Time's flying by. And on top of this internet situation, I think your boy got a cold hard case of the pneumonia. I think I got the pneumonia. Just walked the dog outside in what was supposed to be 50 degrees. Did not feel 50. Let me say that. It was a tundra out there. Your boy wore shorts, okay? And I've never claimed to be a smart man. I never have, and I never will. But that was one of my worst decisions, I must say. So walk the dog in the freezing cold woke me up a bit. I'll say that. You know, nothing a little 4 Rosy and a little Coke Light won't fix. You know what I'm saying, boys? Cheers. Happy hump day. My dog, on the other hand, for as squatty and unathletic as he is, he turns into um, one of those wolves that was chasing Liam Neeson in that one movie. You know what I'm talking about. Just turns into an Arctic wolf. Um, you know, could be out there all day, just hunting for his next kibble meal. Big dunk does it big. I mean, I used to be, you kind of, I feel like I'm getting out of my prime daily, honestly. Um, but man, I would beg my parents to send me to school in shorts when it was a slick 40 degrees back in middle school, It was hardcore. Um, and nowadays, give me some fuzzy socks. Give me a little, little dash of hot cocoa, and then I'm all set. But I used to be much stronger against the cold. I don't know if you guys experience this as well, because honestly, it's alarming um, what's going on with my internal temperature. Um, so yeah, apologies for the first stream just crashing. Not sure what happened. Apparently, we were still on, but I couldn't do a thing. Couldn't do a singular thing with it. It's buffering right now, so that's big time for us. I'm just going to continue on with the show. I do have soft hands, even though I am wearing I'm wearing the Rankin Versace right now. Carhartt on, brother. Peyton, yeah, you can say whatever to me about the cold. I've seen the terrain that you're uh, just madmanly walking across this week. I mean, you're walking through blizzards to kill the ducks, and I mean, it's getting wintry when the ducks start flying south. The bucks start looking for the south end of a doe. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean. Uh, you know, but yeah, it's chilly out there. It's chilly out there. Um, we went from summer to winter in a matter of days, and it looks like we're in the 80s next week. So gotta love the sip. Come to the sip. Um, never a good weather year. Sometimes good weather days, but that's all we can really say. How's everyone's week? Sound off in the comments if you're having a good week. Um, I know I am. Hope you are. Did you get a little trick or treating in? Get some full size candy bars from your rich neighbors? What everybody go as? I'm not seeing any chatter. Somebody chatter. Um, I went as Jurassic Park with the fam. Palmer went as a dino. Cutest dino I've ever seen. Mad love on the socials for Palmer's dino. Johnny has a bad week, but he's checking in, and I appreciate that. Hope your week is better, John boy. Uh, for my soccer heads out there, West Ham won today in the No One Cares Cup. We beat Arsenal. So that's big time. That's big time. 3-1. TJ's in here. Turn up. I saw T just past weekend. Asked him why he wasn't cashing. He said he'd be here. So he's a man of his word. What's up, Teach? Um, where's the rest of the cavalry? Is what I'm wondering. Where's the rest of the cavalry? You like I said, your boy might have a touch of the pneumonia. Shouldn't have walked the dog in shorts. So I've had this kennel cough for about 2 weeks now, um, and I'm working through it. I'm working through it. Let's call on the dogs. Let's call on the dogs. How do I call in, Tej? I will put the number up shortly. I'm doing my whole spiel to start the show. It's what I usually do. Try to get a few moments in before I start getting prank called. Um, so if you're in a time crunch, I do apologize, Tej. But yeah, just let me get through this. Dean dresses Jimbo Fisher. Hickory Dickory Dock, baby. Well, it was Dabo that said Hickory Dickory Dock, Dean. Easily mistaken. I mean, Jimbo, Dabo, both just country ass names, but yeah. Or maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something on that, Dean. Good costume either way. Um, Low battery on the phone ski. We're living our best life right now with the internet situation. Let's get into it. Let's get into it since I don't know how long I'll have. Dean, will Delta State win the Natty in football this year? Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares about that? Dean hates himself. Yeah, that was that was an L comment, Dino. Sorry about that. Um, what else? What else? What else for this week? Halloween skis. Anyone else with a costume? Jomo 1-7 at Akron. Yeah, that guy stinks. Um, that guy stinks. Let's get into some ball. Let's get into some ball. I don't know how long this is going to last with the internet and just what I have going in general. Um, Shouts to the Texas Rangers. Sounds like they're winning the World Series. It seems as though the D-backs were not ready for the smoke from the Strangers. And of course, the Braves will always win next year. Always next year for the Braves. So, counting on that. Our first game of the week that we're going to touch on is the Rebs. The Rebs at home against Jimbo Fisher, Dean, the coach of A&M. They're favored by 3, so -3 for the Rebs, +3 for the Aggies in this one. Let me put on the line. Call into the show 601-706-9475. Let me hear it. Let me hear some takes. Let me get some picks. Let me get some winners from the boys and the gals. If there are gals in this stream, why would you be here if you were, you know? Yeah, call in. We've had Rajesh the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe, with some just hot cricket takes. And I guess I look forward to him calling in again. Could you bring phone charger? It's a bad husband, you know? It's a bad dad. Take care of Palmy, Kim. Look at these graphics, high class. Thanks, Tej. I actually work hard on them. You know what I mean? So, I appreciate someone noticing. It's only been 10 weeks for someone to say literally anything about the graphics. It doesn't hurt, you know. It doesn't hurt me, but it certainly is great to be acknowledged, Tej. Thanks. Like the video, Tej, while you're at it with the compliments. Ole Miss A&M. The line's at 3. Over under set at 54. Ole Miss creeped into the top 10 this week. What is everyone's thoughts on Georgia being at 2 in the college football playoff ranking? Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. I think everyone would have put them at 1. I don't know if I'm on YouTube or watching Stanford Steve on ESPN. Big compliment again from Teach. I kind of envy Stanford Steve. He always has like crazy swag from random schools. You're the best. Hey, Palmy. You want to say hey, Palmy? Come here. She got the hiccups.
Yeah.
Oh. Hello. Tell everybody hey. Uh-huh. Let it eat. Okay. Uh-huh. Who do you got in this game? Ole Miss, maybe? Ole Miss? Yeah, we'll ride with them. Gotta pay your tuition somehow. Bye-bye. That was Palmer Shows, my co-host She was here not long ago on an episode in the past, and she reappeared today. Such a pretty gal. The real star shows up. That's right, Jonathan. That's right. I couldn't tell if she was making faces. She didn't look very happy. She didn't sound happy. I'll say that. She did not sound happy. Um, Looks like just blank stares looking at the replay. Love that. Dogs outside barking. You know what I mean? So, it's chaos in our house. It is. I'm doing this for an hour and a half every Wednesday, so I'm loved by all. Community, my family. I shut you off. Don't want an echo. Tej, yeah, you might just need to mute it when you call in. Alex called in last week and he had it pulled up, and I think he ended up muting it after a second. So yeah, if you call in, I think that's the move. That's the move for sure. Ole Miss -3. That's the pick. I've had this up forever, but yeah, Ole Miss -3. I think their offense is going to be too much for the Aggies at home. It's kind of a look ahead spot for Ole Miss. Do they have Georgia next week? I don't know, but it is a bit of a look ahead spot. Either way, A&M's defense hasn't been just spectacular. We saw what Arkansas was able to do against State. I think A&M gave up double digits to Arkansas. So I like Ole Miss's offense in this game. Honestly, you might could go over. Yeah, Ole Miss is at Georgia next week, so it is a look ahead spot for Ole Miss. But I'm liking the Rebs in this game. I'm liking the Rebs. Call into the show, Tej, or whoever, 601-706-9475, if you want to give me some takes. So, yeah, Ole Miss -3. I kind of like the over there. Might sprinkle the over in that game. I like the points as well, -3. I'm going to turn the Grizzlies on just to watch them lose. I believe we're 0-4. So that's tough without Ja. Rebs -3, easy cover. I agree, Tej. I think Jimbo's kind of lost that whole program. And I think that Ole Miss is just too good on offense. And they play okay defense this year. So, yeah, I agree. Rebs -3 in that one. Moving on to the other game in state, I do not have Southern Miss. Apologies to Mulvey. But I do have whatever this dumpster fire of a game is going to be. State, Kentucky. Oh, that's good. All right, won't be watching the Grizz. Good deal. State, Kentucky. State is a 3.5-point dog at home. Teach, you and I are in a bit of a state group message. Would love to hear your thoughts on this upcoming game. You don't ever want to call and discuss the Rebs. I think they're a real deal this year. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts how good they are as a state fan because they are good. The Rebs are good. Once they go to the 12-team playoff, I think you're going to see Ole Miss in there. Not every year, but they could get in pretty often. I mean, the way they've been finishing seasons. 601-706-9475. Call into the show and come cash with me. T just got UK in this game. I think, this is a must win for Zach Arnett and the Dogs. They did surprisingly get that SEC win against Arkansas in an ugly, ugly 7-3 victory. Kentucky, once undefeated during the year, has kind of backslid since that beatdown at the hands of the Georgia Bulldogs. State obviously is just not good offensively. Very, very bad offensively. The defense is questionable at best, and they really have not been playing well this year defensively either, which is a bit discouraging, I must say, going into this game. I think Kentucky has a pretty solid defense. Um, and they kind of were flexing the defense early in the year. Obviously, Georgia kind of took them back down to earth. Down to earth. I don't know if Woody and Will are playing. I don't think it really matters if Will plays or not, to be honest. But if Woody plays, he can make an impact. Either way, I'm going to keep riding the Mississippi State unders. So I'm going to go under 46. I wouldn't dare bet on Mississippi State, although I do think they're in a spot where at home, if you're the head coach, you've got to do everything in your power to win this game. Um, most people want him out. I can't blame them. You've got Southern Miss left on the schedule. You assume you're going to win that game. Southern's really, really bad this year. So you would think State wins that game to get to 5 wins. You've got to either win this game, A&M or Ole Miss, and we know they're not going to beat Ole Miss more than likely. So, to me, this is a must-win for Will Arnett and the Dogs. They're going to have to play pretty much perfect on defense to give the offense a chance. 35-7. Kentucky says Teach. I'd be okay with that. It would still go under, so I'm all for that score because I'm putting money on the under here. Would love for State to get it done. I know a lot of people are kind of hoping they get embarrassed just to kind of see Arnett see the door, and that would probably be a good scenario as well. So I can't hate on that as a State fan either, but always pulling for the Dogs either way. Hey, if you haven't liked the video, stop what you're doing, like the video. You know what I mean? It's so easy, so free. It's so free to like. Moving on, another SEC matchup. Not a lot of great matchups this week in college football outside of the SEC. A lot of your top 25 teams are either off or they're playing absolutely no one. So let's see. I just want to go through the slate with us real quick. Tej, I thought you were calling in, pal. Numbers on the screen. You got Kansas State against Texas. I'll get into that a little later. We just discussed A&M versus Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Clemson, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State. So Bedlam, Washington, USC, LSU, Bama, the big one. Ohio State plays Rutgers in New Jersey. UConn plays Tennessee. Tennessee plays UConn. Sorry, got out of order there. No Bowers for Dogs again, I believe. Yeah, Bowers is out for the year, people are saying, or at least till the playoff. Utah, Arizona State, Air Force. Wild that Air Force is 8-0. At home against Army, take the under. Maryland at home against Penn State. This game, Georgia, Mizzou. Virginia Tech at Louisville. Louisville, a sneaky 7-1. Florida State on the road at Pitt, favored by 21.5. Tulane, number 24 Tulane, is on the road at ECU. Cal at Oregon. Kansas at Iowa State. TJ's favorite head coach, Matt Campbell. Purdue at Michigan. Oregon State is at Colorado, and UCLA is at Arizona. Arizona was the underdog of the week last week at +3 at home. I believe they got it done. Shows you how much I was paying attention. Yeah, they beat Oregon State at home. That was underdog of the week for me last week, so big dub right there for your boy. And I'd probably take them again this week at home, +3 against UCLA. I love Arizona. I love Fifona, or however you say the quarterback's name. He did not play against State, or else State probably would have lost that game, to be honest with you. But in this game, Missouri, Georgia, Missouri is ranked 12, which is absolutely nuts. Their quality win, I guess, was Kansas State. They barely got out alive in that one. Missouri has Tennessee next week. They lost to LSU. They beat Kentucky. They beat South Carolina. So, whatever you want to say about those wins. So, yeah, I mean, Missouri at 12 is pretty wild. Obviously, they're going to get taken down to earth this weekend. I don't hate the 15 and a half. I hate that line, 15 and a half, but I think Georgia probably does to Missouri what they did to Kentucky. Um, as TJ said, no Bowers this week. That might hurt them. It didn't seem to hurt them last week. So um, I would think Georgia here. I would probably take the over as well. Missouri's offense is capable of scoring points, but I know one thing's for sure: their defense can't stop a soul. I think Vandy put up 30 something or something against Mizzou. So um, I'm definitely going to roll with Georgia and the over there probably. Let's see. Getting a call in. Let's see what we got. You're on, Cashin. Hello. Awesome. Good call. Still Halloween, so got called by a ghost. Um, good stuff. Good stuff there. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Georgia minus 15 and a half, and I'm gonna take the over 55 and a half. I'm not actually probably gonna put any money on this game. Um, because I hate those. I hate those two numbers. I don't like either number, but if I had to, gun to my head, had to put money on it, I'd probably bet that 55 and a half. Probably go 55 and a half. If you just tried to call in, try again, I guess. I don't know what happened. Moving on to Bedlam. Oklahoma State. We won a big bet on Oklahoma earlier this year in the Red River rivalry against Texas. Oh God, the pneumonia's setting in. Brutal, brutal swallow right there. Um, we had Oklahoma in that game. Now we've got them at -8 at Oklahoma State this weekend. I believe the call is coming back. I don't know if it's the same number or not. You're on, Cashin.
This is TJ Carter. Am I cashing?
TJ, you're cashing, pal.
I love it. I'm taking Mizzou. I think they cover. I think
Okay.
they got too good of an offense. They gave LSU all they could handle. I think LSU plus 15 and a half is a lock.
Missouri plus 15 and a half.
Yeah, whatever. I
Yeah,
keep saying
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. You got the Tigers either way.
They
You got the Tigers either way.
Eli Dinkowitz is the only thing from App State in the SEC working right now.
I believe that.
That
I
is
believe
a shot
that.
at Kevin Barbay.
Okay.
If you don't understand.
Okay. Yeah, I get it now. I get it now. Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of like the 15 and a half with Mizzou as well. 15 and a half is a terrible line. They just want you to struggle with it, I think. But yeah, Mizzou can score points.
So now I see we got up Oklahoma State.
Yep. Bedlam in Stillwater.
OU took a loss last week. Am I correct or no?
Yes, lost to Kansas. I had Kansas outright. They were at plus 10.
Man,
Big,
what a pick.
Big bet for me. Big bet for me, I must say.
I think Venables gets them back on track. I think they take the dub against Oklahoma State, but it's hard to bet against my I'm a man Mike Gundy. I mean, just hard to bet against that guy.
Do they cover the 8?
Ooh, that's tough. I definitely think I definitely am probably going to take the under here. So 61.5. I think it's a much better defensive game than people will give it credit for.
Yeah, you see this game on the schedule, you usually think over. But I kind of agree with you. Oklahoma State is going to have to lean on their defense in this one. They beat Kansas State at home earlier this year. I kind of like the Cowboys at +8. I don't know if they win, but I think it's close.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think OU comes away with it in the win. I think they're just going to be too hungry to stay on track to make a playoff push.
Yeah,
But how wild is how? I think it shows you again, and Mississippi State is definitely a different program entirely than Oklahoma. But I mean, people wanted Venable's head this time last year, and he's got them. What are they? 7-1 with a win against Texas. I
mm,
mean, making a playoff push, and I mean, people wanted him out last year.
yeah, you got to give guys time, especially at these major programs where they're spending, 100+ mil. But yeah, it's a different situation than states in. Um, And I'm a big give a coach time guy, but honestly, state's just so hard to watch. I mean, they're hard to watch. Just play football.
Yeah, we suck.
I mean, do you think what's the win threshold for Arnett to stay? I mean, is it 5? We know he's getting 5. So,
I think 5. I think we get to 5 and 5-7. They let him stay. 6-6 is a lock that he's back,
yeah.
unless you just have something off the field like Jomo did. Will Rogers takes a black eye at practice. Could be the end. But
How good would we
all
be
the
with
stuff.
Garrett Schrader? I think we
Oh
win a
man,
couple games with Garrett Schrader right now.
I do. But he has the man. Syracuse last year was on a roll, and I've watched him. Just not the same guy this year for them.
He's not
I
a
don't
big
know
game
if the O
guy.
line's a little different or just talent's gone compared to last year, but he literally legitimately last year tore it up for the Orange.
The mobility's there and the toughness is there. He's got the dog in him. I'd have liked to seen him in maroon and white this year, but we've got Will and and,
At
and Mike Wright. So
like two weeks ago, I think there were 5 quarterbacks from the Mississippi State QB room starting in college football. You had is it Sawyer Robinson that's at Baylor?
yep,
Or no, he's somewhere else I think starting.
no, he's a
But
Baylor.
Baylor started a Mississippi State guy. Will obviously is at State. Jaden is it Jaden Daniels? No,
Hmm.
that's the LSU guy. Jaden, I think it's
Starts
Jaden something
starts with
at
an
San
M.
Diego State.
Yep. Hmm.
Mabry maybe Jaden
Yep.
Mabry.
Yep. Nailed it.
That's it. That's 3. You had Schrader at Syracuse 4. Man, and there was one more.
It
I
hurts that
can't remember
Dylan
who it was
Johnson is
for
lighting it
5.
up at Washington and at running back. That hurts.
So there was man. It would be interesting to see, which he was leaving for sure. He hated. What did Mike Leach say about him? Like
Yeah, he said he was
basically called him a
soft.
little girl.
Yeah, he said he was soft,
So
which
uh,
he might be if
so
he
he
left.
decided to go. So he decided to go to the Pac-12. I mean, that is a soft move.
Some would say it's Charmin soft.
But John Rice Plumlee, former SEC guy, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss has a similar thing going on. I know the guy at Illinois was at Ole Miss.
Oh man, no, that's he is. What was his
Altman,
dad's
I think. I think he's from Starkville, right?
Altmaier. That's it. His
Altmaier, yeah.
dad's the team doctor for Mississippi State.
Yeah, that one
That guy's
hurts.
trash.
Yeah, he's not good, but
Like,
AJ
yeah,
Brown hurt a little more than that. But when you lose a guy whose
yeah,
dad is in the locker room, that hurts.
yeah, yeah.
What
Altmaier's
else?
not good.
Any other games on your radar, Teach?
Who is? I mean, the big one is LSU, Alabama.
Yep, Bama's favored by 3 right now.
I mean, I think I like LSU. What catches me up is it's in Tuscaloosa. So it's not even the home field environment. It's that not only do they got to beat the Crimson Tide, they got to beat the Zebras.
Well, yeah,
They're going to
yeah,
have
that's
adversity
100%.
to overcome with the officials.
That is true. There's a lot of blind zebras when they get their paycheck from Birmingham, so they've got to take their own health into account when officiating that game. Um, yeah, I agree with you with it being in Tuscaloosa. I mean, LSU hasn't necessarily traveled well. Obviously, the big L to Florida State to start the year, like you mentioned earlier, struggled with Missouri. Um, we can't really talk about them in Starkville. I mean, obviously, they traveled well there, but they were playing a JV squad, and lost to Ole Miss at Ole Miss. So I kind of like Bama in that game, like you said, just with them being in Tuscaloosa for that one.
I know you passed or you mentioned it in passing at least. Notre Dame Clemson
Hmm.
is a 6-6 or 5-7 because I don't see Clemson getting past Notre Dame this weekend.
Same.
Is this the end for Dabo Swinney, who Dean Arnold mistaked for Dickety Doc? I'm on
The
the TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they can get rid of him. I mean, that's Clemson's, that's their guy. And I don't think one bad year and that call he had with the guy on their radio, um, that was a wild reaction by Dabo. But he laid out some good points. I mean, they've won two national championships in 7 years, 8 years. Um, any program that's doing that is up at the elite level. So I mean, one season where he has a terrible
Well,
quarterback. I mean, their
this
quarterback
is,
sucks.
and now it's 4 losses, but 3 losses the last 3 years.
The loss to NC State is bad, and I had NC State in that game. He's lost that locker room. No one trusts the. I mean, he threw the quarterback in the mud after the loss to Miami, basically saying he didn't give the ball when he was supposed to there at the goal line at the end. Uh, I think he's kind of lost this team, but I don't see him going anywhere. But yeah, I don't think they get past Notre Dame this weekend. It is in Death Valley, the fake Death Valley at Clemson, but I like Notre Dame in that game as well.
Yeah. Speaking of hot seat, is Shane Beamer on the hot seat, especially if he takes an L with FCS powerhouse Jacksonville State coming in
Rich
to play.
Rod,
And if we all remember, about 10 years ago, opening game of the year up in Oxford, I think they're
they're
the
the
Gamecocks as
Gamecocks. It's
well.
a cock off.
Took
Yeah,
took down took down the Rebs and got either Coach O or Houston Nutt pretty much fired.
yeah, it's a cock off in that one this weekend. Jake's in here. Call back to Scrody from last week. Jake, the mascot for like ITT Tech or something. Yeah, I would say if he loses to Jack State, the seat is going to be boiling. I mean, South Carolina goes through coaches like crazy, and they make just awful hires from Muschamp to Beamer. Um, they recruit pretty well to be as bad as they are.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do good in the portal too. I mean, most people think, which I'm out on Rattler. I don't think he's any good, but most people think Rattler would be pretty successful at another program if he was there. So
I think Rattler, I've hated that guy ever since I watched
QB1,
whatever, QB1 or whatever it
yeah,
was. The guy is just, I mean, major D-bag.
Ter- terrible human. Yeah, terrible human. He looks like a
How
translucent
wild,
lizard. So doesn't have a lot going
I
for him.
do, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Jake Fromm, him, and Sam
DJU.
Hartman. And
Oh yeah, Hartman. Yeah, maybe
him
Hartman.
and Sam Hartman are shit, which Sam Hartman had a decent last couple of years at Wake and is obviously a name now at Notre Dame. And Spencer Rattler, because of this show and OU and transfer, like Caleb Williams still in his spot as a name, but like Fromm's been out like 2 years.
Yeah,
Like,
Fromm's in the NFL. Yeah.
Are Hartman and Rattler, like, are they pulling some Georgia, Stetson Bennett over here, are
Yeah,
they really like 35
it's the COVID year
playing college
thing. I mean,
football?
Emory Jones is still playing college football.
Wow.
He's the
Where is
quarterback.
he
He's
at?
the quarterback for Cincinnati, which is nuts. I mean,
Oh my
I feel
God.
like he's been at every program. Like, if you would have told me he went to LSU and played for a bit, I would believe you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I have not. If you had not ever mentioned Emory Jones, that name, I would never have discussed him ever
he's
again
still
in my
playing.
life.
He's still playing.
Um, Florida State was my, dark horse coming into the year outside the top four, but could win a natty, and they're still rolling. Jordan Travis is a straight baller.
He is good. He is good.
Um,
I compared his stats to Graham Mertz last week, and they were very comparable. But we won't get into that again. It's all right. I do like Florida State. I had them winning the. No, I had North Carolina winning the ACC. They really blew that against Virginia. But yeah, I think Florida State's got a shot at it.
so let's stay on the controversy topic. Iowa has, already told old head coach's son, "You're out at the end of the year." So what do we feel is the vibes? And not JJ McCarthy, but Cade McNamara's out rest of the year. Offense has somehow they win games.
Yeah.
Scoring 10 points, but what's the locker room? Is their head coach gone? Like, I mean, how do you let your son basically get told after this year you're gone? You can't
Yeah,
get it done. You suck.
he
You
does.
suck at your job.
He stinks. He does. And he just looks like it. I mean, he does. He looks like he doesn't know his ass from his elbow on the sidelines when they show him. But yeah, I think if you're Iowa, their defense is so good. I would have them and Utah's defense, ranked pretty high up there in college football. It's a shame you waste that defense every year with just the most lackluster offense um, imaginable. I mean, I think they're still they've known the offense has sucked all year, so I assume they're still going to try to win games. Um,
Yeah.
I assume that coach is a legend. I don't know how easy or hard it is to get a guy to Iowa to coach, but it can't be easy.
I mean, it could be a place that Matt Campbell goes. I mean,
From Iowa State
likes
to
this small
Iowa.
town.
Yeah, for those
You
that
know,
don't know, I was in line with the rest of the country in saying that Matt Campbell was a hot coach to hire. Some are saying that USC thought about hiring him, some bigger programs. TJ, from jump, and I'll give him credit, knew immediately that Matt Campbell was a dud. He stunk. Um, and that he would be no good. And credit to Teach. He got it right.
it was all Brock Purdy.
All Brock Purdy, all Brees Hall. People forget Brees Hall was there as well.
I did forget Brees Hall was there.
Yep.
Were those guys he brought in?
Yeah, I
Or
mean, he
did he
recruited
just?
them. No, yeah, he recruited them. You got to give him a little credit for recruiting guys to Iowa State. That's pretty hard to do, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did. He had one good year, one okay year, and then it's just been what it's supposed to be at. Whatever. Have you talked Washington USC? Let's throw that graphic up there, Cam.
I don't have it
Put
up.
that on the.
I've used so many. I've done Washington or USC so often this year that I didn't throw it up this go around. But I am taking Washington. I think USC's defense is just so bad. I mean, they're terrible.
Yeah. So you're and Washington's only got to cover 3. Is it at Washington or is it in
It is at
the
USC.
Coliseum?
It is at USC. So they could sneak up on them, no doubt. But I mean, Washington, if they're going to make the playoff, this is the game they got to win. Which they have to play Utah still. They got to play a scrappy Wazoo at the end of the year, obviously. So, um, they're in danger. I won't say they aren't in danger.
But I do. I love Michael Penix Jr. I think he wins the Heisman. I mentioned Jordan Travis. I think it's Michael Penix Jr.'s to lose.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have Michigan's, whatever his name is. Is it
J.J. McCarthy.
McCarthy? Yeah, they have him, but I just with all the stuff that's going on with that program, I don't think you can give it to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, might as well call him Jose Altuve. I mean,
Yeah, the guy's
they got
got
all the
he's
time
got a
coming at him.
buzzer on his chest.
So, I'm a big Michael Penix Jr. Let's say in the Pac-12, should the Rose Bowl or UCLA pay for, or not UCLA, the Pac-12 pay for Colorado's jewelry that was stolen at some point during the game last week?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dion seems to get his stuff stolen at a high rate. I mean, so it's hard to say. I don't know. Can the Pac-12 afford it? I mean, they don't have any teams coming back next year.
How is your security so bad? Like, I can understand the Jackson State one because we're all from around there, and you just know, like,
Yeah.
there's not going to be the level of security there needs to be. But, like, how at the Rose Bowl like, how does your stuff get stolen?
No
Like, come
comment.
on.
My uncle was once a cop that worked at the Rose Bowl during games, so I can't. You're really throwing friendly fire there, Teach.
You got to plead the fifth,
Oh
huh?
yeah, I gotta plead the fifth. Uncle Steve, I support you.
Uh, let's discuss this, and I'm gonna have to hang up on the Cashin from Cam, but I'm gonna
Okay.
give you um, Dion. Dion Sanders obviously they've fallen a little bit, now towards the end. Actually, one more thing after this,
Okay.
but they're 4-4. Luke Fickle has been forgotten. Over at Wisconsin, they're now 5-3.
Yeah.
And Dion beat him, but you got Matt Rule at Nebraska, also 5-3. Do all three of those take a leap? Let's go ahead and look at next year. Do they go 3 for 3? Like, are all three of those gonna pan out?
Give me the three teams again.
You got Dion at Colorado; they're
Yeah.
4-4 currently. You got Matt Rule at Nebraska,
Yeah.
who did take a loss to Dion, and you got Luke Fickle at Wisconsin, who had Cincinnati in the playoff 2 years ago that I think everyone's forgotten about.
I don't think you
Which
see
Wisconsin
Wisconsin.
somehow again is going to win 9 games.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin stays consistent there, but I don't think you see them take a leap either. I think Dion is going to get some guys in there on the front, front seven and offensive line that are going to help them be better next year. What if you call a leap 7 wins? I would probably put that as kind of the threshold for Dion next year. And then Nebraska, I love Matt Rule. They have really underperformed this year. So yeah, I mean, I think they can kind of only go up next year. If they don't, then Matt Rule's just gonna be a talking head on Fox or something because obviously his Panthers tenure wasn't great, and he had pretty high expectations going into Nebraska. So
Yeah, gotcha. Last topic is Bo Nix. They just popped up a Heisman short list, and he was on there. I mean, that guy was garbage for 3 years in the SEC.
old
And
man
he's got
Bo,
the Ducks. He's got the Ducks on a playoff push.
the Ducks are flying. Yeah, Bo couldn't play on the road for the majority of his career, and is now kind of at least playing consistently, home and away, which has helped them. Their coach is a big Bo advocate, so I guess just having that support has helped Bo be a dog at Oregon. But I like Bo. I mean, God, is he old? Most college starts out of anybody, but you got to hand it to him. I mean, I guess if you play enough, you end up being pretty decent over the other 18 and 19-year-olds you're playing against.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Who is Ryan Drew? I feel like I know that guy, but
I'm not
maybe
sure,
I
but
don't.
he wants you to say something about Ole Miss.
I mean, I already said it. Unfortunately, I think they're good. I think Pete Golding was worth the money. I think they've shown Mississippi State that you got to go pay over $7 million a year for a head coach, and you're gonna have to pay, over $1.5 million for some good coordinators.
Yeah, you got to get the
especially D
coordinators. Yeah, you got to get the coordinators on there.
I think Alabama pushed Pete Golding out too soon because I think he's been legit. He was at UTSA and had the #1 defense in the country. Like, I think the guy's just legitimate. I'm a fan. When actually he went to Alabama, Mike Leach's first year, and that's who instead of Zach Arnett, that's who I was kind of reading the message board. So I think Ole Miss is a good one in Pete Golding for sure, and then the offense looks Jackson Dart looks way better than he did last year. Like,
it's true.
Jackson Dart was hot garbage last year. Like,
I wouldn't go that far,
and
but
you think he was bad. He was really freaking bad.
Well,
compared to this year, but he's looked very well. I think the Rebels. I don't know who else they have left on the
they got Georgia next week.
Played LSU yet.
They beat LSU. They beat LSU.
Beat LSU. And got Georgia next week in Athens.
In Athens, yeah.
I mean,
probably an L.
Okay. I mean, could be game day.
Yeah, if they win that game, if they win this week, they go to Georgia next week. Definitely game day is going to be there if I had to guess.
If Georgia wins this week, like I said, I like Mizzou to cover.
Oh, come on!
15.5.
You don't believe Mizzou's
beating
Georgia?
Plus 15.5. I think Mizzou could get it done. I'm telling you, they had LSU where they wanted them and just kind of blew it towards the end. But I think the Rebs are good.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately.
I think they're going to be good for a while, as long as Lane stays put.
I also do, but I think you have a lot of off-season controversy again, Ryan Drew, with is Lane staying? Is Lane going to Miami to take Mario Cristobal's job because he can't knee the football? Is he going to jump ship to a bigger program next year?
We'll see.
To Clemson when Dabo Swinney gets fired because they go 6-6, and he hates the portal, and Lane Kiffin's all about it.
Good points. We'll see, Teach.
Man, well, I'm going to keep watching. Hopefully,
all right.
I get to hear about a little Indian cricket.
Yeah, we'll see if he calls in.
At some point, maybe somebody talks about how a guy got murdered in a minor league
hockey game.
European
saw that video today. That was tough. Yeah.
So some good topics that I hope still come up, but it's been fun. Cam, you got me. Subscribing. I'm liking.
Let's go.
In every week.
Let's go, Teach. Appreciate the call.
Good deal. Always.
All right. That was TJ Carter giving his analysis on college football. A lot of topics there. Moving on. We kind of touched on it. Oklahoma State +8 on the Cowpokes in that game. Big fan of Oklahoma State there. Oklahoma has been on the brink 2 weeks in a row. Lost last week at Kansas. Struggled at home against UCF. I think you keep seeing some chinks in their armor. Or kinks in their armor. Don't say chinks, Cam. That's not good. Bleep that out, Cam. Onward. God. Big game. Big game of the week right here. We got LSU. Didn't know this was Cashin with TJ. Yeah, TJ, a good 20-minute call there from Tej. He didn't call in all year, so I guess he had to get it all out in one call. So good stuff from Tej there. LSU Bama, the one we're all tuned in on this week. I don't know if Boudreaux's calling in this week. Let me see. Wait, we're making connections here. Ryan Drew, Peyton Murphy from Capaya. You nailed it, Peyton. Peyton, you know this guy? I don't know if I know you, Ryan. Have we met? Nice to meet you, pal. Big Ole Miss guy? I can see, maybe? I know Peyton is. Peyton, do you think Ole Miss is going to beat the Aggies this weekend? Do you think they're going to beat the Aggies? I think they are. Um, let's see. Onward. I'm all in on Bama in this game. I like Bama. -3 at home for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. Uh, um, LSU hasn't traveled well this year. I like the 3 points. Over under at 60.5. I think Bama's got to slow down Jaden Daniels if they're going to win this game. So I'd probably lean under in this one. Um, but Bama -3 at home is pretty much a lock. I mean, if I have to say so myself. LSU, obviously dynamic offense. Um, their defenses look super unorganized this season. Florida State was brutal watching them play Florida State defensively, and then at Ole Miss they never lined up against the Rebs. I mean, they were always scrambling to get to the line of scrimmage. Um, so yeah, I like Bama -3. I've been listening to Feinbaum this week. People are really on Bama in this game, which kind of scares me, but I think I'm going to go with the Tide. I know I've got some Tigers in here that probably disagree. I'd love to hear your reasons why the Tigers might come out on top in this one. 601-706-9475 if you want to chime in. Um, but yeah, at the beginning of the season, I mean, this one was circled obviously as probably the biggest week in the SEC West, and it's pretty much come down to that. If Bama loses here, it kind of opens things up for Ole Miss. If Ole Miss were to somehow go to Athens and beat Georgia, they have a path, where you see them in the SEC championship game. Because if LSU beats Bama, Bama has an SEC West loss. LSU lost to Ole Miss. So, if Ole Miss takes care of business this weekend at home, goes down to Georgia and pulls it off, you could see Ole Miss in the SEC championship and possibly college football playoff. I don't know if you beat Georgia twice. That would kind of be the kicker if you had to meet them in Atlanta for the SEC championship, which I assume you probably would. I don't think anyone in the East would have one loss other than Georgia in that scenario. But if the Tigers somehow go into Tuscaloosa and pull this off, that'd be big for Ole Miss fans. I just don't see it happening with their defense. Obviously, Bama's offense not as strong as it has been in the past, but I mean their defense is ridiculous. Alabama also, just watching them this year, they're a big second half team. They make adjustments at halftime, especially on defense, and they come out and they play really, really good defense in the second half. So, you might see this game be pretty tight going into halftime, but I could see Bama pulling away at the end and covering that 3 points against LSU. LSU obviously got them last year, so Bama's had this one circled for sure. And just -3 doesn't scare me on this. -3 doesn't scare me. -3.5. I might have considered LSU. I've lost so much money on LSU this year. I had them against FSU. I had them against Ole Miss, and they blew it both times. So, I'm just gonna fade myself, fade the Tigers, and go with Bama. I hate it. I hate betting on Bama, but it must be done in this scenario. Voice crack. Jonathan's going with OU. Jake's in here, as he said. Jacob's in here. Hag is saying go Tigers. Yes, sir. Catching up on the chat. All right. Let's get into the full slate. I'm kind of taking it easy on the slate. I got to be honest with you. I've been on that underdog app so heavy. And that's where I'm winning all my money this year. I'd like to say I'm winning on games. I'm like 500 on the year. So not going to win a lot of money going 500 in these streets. But nonetheless, Underdog app is just I'm just cashing. I mean, I've won like $3,500 this year on Underdog. Not to brag. If you're not on the app, go ahead and hop on there. No free ads, but I mean, what are you doing if you're not on Underdog? This week, I do have Notre Dame -3 at Clemson. I just think Clemson's no good. Dabo has kind of lost. He's off the rails. Sam Hartman goes in. Notre Dame, as inconsistent as they've been this year, I like them this week against Clemson. -3, kind of telling that they're not a dog going to Clemson. That's just the quality that Clemson has had this year. Um, Ole Miss -3 at home. Thank you, Dean. Yeah, I like OK State in that game at home. I just think it's going to be close. Oklahoma might win it, but I think it's going to be close. Ole Miss -3 against A&M. Kind of like I said, I mean, Ole Miss is too much offense for A&M. Too much offense for A&M. Let's see here. Texas -4 at home. I got to be real honest. I forgot who they're playing. That's a bad look. That's a bad look. Kansas State. Kansas State has not played well on the road this year. Losses to Mizzou and OK State. Texas has played really well at home. Give me the 4 points. I think they win by a touchdown at least. Kansas State's quarterback has been off and on all year. So give me Texas -4. OK State +8. Said that one. Discussed this with TJ. I like Washington -3 at USC. If Washington falls, you could definitely see it this week. But I personally think that USC's defense is just so bad. And they might be up for this game and play really well. It's hard to know with the way that college football has been this year, but yeah, I'm taking it easy this week. I've been betting like 10 to 15 games a week, so trying to just lock in on a few. Getting into the NFL. I don't know if Aham's in here. Let me make sure he's not going to call in. He might be on the sauce right now. You know what I mean? We got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Miami Dolphins in Germany. Guten Tag, Bratwurst, many other things, about Germany. We forgive you, Germany, I guess. Little Dicky said that. I like the Chiefs. -1.5. The over is at 50.5. These European games rarely go over. I feel like there's rarely like fun involved in these games for whatever reason. I feel like the teams are just so out of sync with their timing and stuff. Ryan, the culture coming up, big dog. Yeah, but I like the Chiefs -1.5. It's kind of a crapshoot in these games. I don't know if they've played in Germany before. Is this the first time? I have no clue. But yeah, Chiefs -1.5. Coming off the Broncos loss, which was nuts. I couldn't believe that. But I definitely think they bounce back here. Just more experience with the weird schedule and stuff. I like the Chiefs, and that's a tiny line at 1.5. It starts at 8:30 Sunday, which is who's getting up for that? I probably will. I'll watch it. I wish it was the Toy Story cast. I can't remember why I chose this one. I think their records are good. But -6. I don't know what I was doing here. But Baltimore, Seattle. I'd say probably take Seattle in this one +6. That's a pretty big line for an NFL game. Baltimore is hot and cold. They played okay against Arizona last week. They turned the ball over a decent amount, and their defense is good but not great. I think Geno probably plays pretty well in that game. So give me the Hawks +6 and probably the over at 44. I think that's what I went with was the over at 44. Um, a little bias. I got Lamar on a fantasy team, so I kind of need him to step his stuff up. Yeah, rip to Bob Knight, the chair throwing man, legendary college basketball coach. Um, that's all I'll say about that. R.I.P. Bob Knight. Onward. I hear my baby crying, so kind of moving fast through here. America's team, the Cowboys, +3, 3-point dog to the Eagles in Philly. The Birds -3. Over unders at 46.5. I had the over in the Dallas Cowboys Rams game last weekend, and I think it hit in the first half. I'm gonna go over here, 46.5. I think the Eagles 7-1. As much as they weren't in a groove offensively to start the season, Dallas's defense, without Diggs and without a couple other guys, Micah Parsons has been good, but not, as good as in his first season. I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. I like the over at 46.5. Tush Push is still alive. Jalen Daniels. Jalen Hurts did fumble against the Commanders last week on a tush push. So, maybe it's dead. Maybe it's dead. But 46.5, I like that. I like that line. I can see it. I can see either team scoring 30 points in this game. NFL picks. I don't think Alex is calling in, so we won't get our NFL analysis here. But Chiefs -1.5, Seattle and the Ravens over 44. And the Colts, -2.5. Colts lose to the Saints last weekend. Couple turnovers by my man, Gardner. But he is playing really well in spurts. And then at times, just that gunslinging mentality gets him in a little trouble. It's no fun messing up on names. Good callback, Dean. Sorry about that, pal. Colts -2.5 at Carolina. Carolina's defense is decent. They got their first win last week against Houston, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening for Carolina. The Colts offense. Zach Moss has been really good with JT not playing for a bit. He's back now and playing, but I still like the way Zach Moss is playing, running the ball and catching the ball. He had a big reception last game. But yeah, I like my boy Minshew in this one, -2.5. Dallas, Philly, over 46.5. And then I got the G-Men, +1.5. And I don't even remember who they play. Las Vegas. Vegas benched Jimmy Garoppolo, ripped to that handsome man. And then Bengals -2 at home against the Bills. The Bills suck on the road. And Joe Burrow and them are finding their groove. That's it for Cashin with Cam. I got to go change a diaper. And I might have to change the diaper on myself because I'm about to piss my pants. We'll see you next week. Hopefully it's